Nice little intro.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Green Industry Raw and Uncut, coming to you live exclusively from Lawn Care World TV. I'm your host, Doug Reich, and up in the corner over there, we've got David Ovando, Mower Man from McKinney, Texas. He is what I would call a social media icon. I think everybody else here would agree. So let's get things rolling here, David. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. The person, not the guy we see on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook.
So basically, I like comic books. I have two kids. I have a wife. On times that I'm not working, I'm spending time with them. I also have two wiener dogs that I actually took out, to the park to run around and film them and send videos to my wife. I usually take lots of pictures of my kids when I get the chance to, and we walk them all and take silly pictures too.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
My business started in Bentonville, Arkansas, almost a decade ago, about 8 years ago. And I started it to make $600 for rent. Back when we lived in a smaller house. And I started it, and it wasn't a business at first. I didn't even think that I would even like doing what I do now or even have social media. It started with me with 2 Troy-Bilt push mowers, which then moved up to 4 Troy-Bilt push mowers, non-assist. It used to take me all day to do 6 jobs, when now, I could get those done in less than half a day because of the equipment that I've been able to, get over time. From there, I worked my business and I kept growing it slowly, and then I noticed that basically work was getting hard on me and my body, so I started looking at equipment. Mowers, and I looked at zero turns. I was scared of them. I actually demoed my first zero turn, which was a Toro at Home Depot, and it totally freaked me out because of the way the settings are. It had a little lever at the bottom that basically it controlled the high and low setting, and the way the throttle went forward and backwards. It was all new to me. Almost wrecked myself in this little corral that they made for the demo area. And from that, I was like, well, what other mowers are out there, on the market that I could try out? They happen to have an Aaron's Zoom 34, I think it was, or I think it was a 42. So I demoed that, and I fell in love with the mower. So I ended up buying my first Aaron's brand mower that was a zero turn. It wasn't commercial, but it was the beginning of my company learning how equipment worked. So then I went to try out, the mower on different jobs. I got it to do a 2 or 3 acre job, and I was all over the place. I couldn't even keep a straight line starting out, and I got extra mower blades, for that mower, and it worked out really well. But I noticed that basically when mowing uneven terrain, it would kind of scalp, and I wondered if it was, because it was a residential mower, maybe that was the issue. So that's when I was like, okay, I kept it for a couple years, but then I was like, I really need to get into commercial mowers. So I went on Craigslist to see, what mowers were available, and I happened to find a 36-inch Pro Walk Gravely, which I went to go see it. It was like $600, to get it, and I went to go check it out, and the mower turned out to be a good mower, so I bought it, got a sulky for it. Ended up selling the 42 Zoom Aaron's that I had. So basically I upgraded and now had my first commercial mower. I I still was using my 21-inch push mowers, but on jobs that I could just free rein and just mow full throttle, I'd use the 36 walk behind. And then I had that for a couple years. What do I like about the industry? I love the equipment. The advances in technology has advanced so much from when I first started. The new mowers that have come out have just been a big shocker to me. From me starting out with a walk behind and jumping out to the zero turn, and then now stand-on mowers are the future. So that walk behind ended up breaking. The engine went, after 2-3 years of use, but it was already old. It was an 80s model. So I sold what I could and then scrapped the rest. And because I really enjoyed doing the lawn care, but I was by myself, but I wanted to expand the company, but I wanted to do year-round work. So I went to San Diego, California for 2 years to see how the year-round market would work in mowing, and I figured I could expand my company because it was a city. But going there, it didn't work out because it's not the same place or the same kind of market the way it was where I started my business. I started in a country setting, Bentonville, Arkansas, where in San Diego, California, it was a city, and basically the climate is always hot there. So I figured the year-round market would work out, me mowing all the time. But because of the drought and the desert kind of climate that they have there, basically all the lawns were dying, and people were painting lawns just so it would look like they had green, and they were doing installation of artificial grass, which I had no clue what to do. I was a maintenance guy. I'm going to get into plastic grass. I love the smell of grass, cutting grass with weed eaters, blowing it. The whole thing of being outside, really was great for me. So I went through a struggle there trying to figure out what would happen with my business. So then again, back to the internet. And this is before I even had, big social media following. I had a little bit of following on Facebook, but I just built that strictly around customers and business I networked around. But I came across an article in Money Magazine, 2015. The number one city to live in and have a small business was McKinney, Texas. So I took, the idea, and I prayed about it. My family's very religious, and that's how we make our choices, and we try to move forward, with the best decisions we can for our family. So we came here, and I've been running since I moved here. Before I moved, to San Diego and basically came here, I had upgraded my mower to 34-inch Compact Pro, which was really great for Arkansas, and it was okay for jobs in San Diego, but it wasn't really used. And then I came here, and it's getting more used on the larger properties that have small gates. To get to the backyard, you can't fit a 36 or a big mower because their gates don't open wide enough. So it really, helps out with jobs like that. But now seeing that I want to expand the company to get bigger jobs, I'm going to have to get into a 36 first and then get into a 52. As I expand my mowing equipment, I want to go into the standard mowers, which is why I've been looking at all types of stand-on mowers, and I was able to become friends with the right brand through social media, and them seeing, my work and basically my calling. I was able to come across Judith at GIE, which is my second year going to GIE, and basically it's The amount of people that I have met, the amount of companies that have asked me, hey, would you like to do a product review? This whole thing, it wasn't something that I planned. It just happened, and then it just kept growing, and it just keeps growing, which is now why these companies are pushing me now into YouTube, and they say, we love what you've done with Instagram, but you need to push more onto YouTube. We want to see your face. We want to see you on lives. We want to see you talking. And it's just been a roller coaster, kind of being a little bit of a celebrity, which I'm just like, I just mow lawns.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of guys are like that, I mean, you see some of these guys out here, and it's almost like, how do you find the time to do the work that you're supposed to be doing, and keeping up with Instagram, and keeping up with YouTube, and keeping up with Facebook, and and for you and a guy like me, family on top of that. I mean, it's not an easy juggle, and obviously you've been I would imagine you've been around the country with your business now. Yeah. So you've had to start over a few times. Yeah. And you're a Gravely advocate at the time, or now you are. Yeah. And I'm a Wright guy. Love my Wright mowers. But I do have a soft spot for Gravely's. When I started out, man, I ran a 1990 belt drive walk behind Gravely, 48-inch. And I actually just sold the mower this year, and I hopped on it. Where's the
pictures? I have to post a picture now.
I could drop a picture up, man. I could drop a picture up. I think the guy I sold it to actually has it for sale on Facebook right now. But I hopped on it this year after about halfway through the season, after having the right for half the season, and I couldn't keep the thing straight anymore. I'm like, all right, it's time for it to go, But let's talk about the bonuses that you've had, and we'll get into the social media, like how he's built it and everything, questions here in a moment. But as far as your business goes, your Facebook, which you have a little over 5,000 followers. Instagram, I think you're about 16,300, give or take.
Yeah, we're working on 17K.
Yeah, YouTube, he said, is fluctuating today because people are messing with him a little bit. But how has that, in building those, affected your business? I mean, obviously you've had to move, so the Facebook has probably had to start over a little bit here and there. Are you gaining a lot of business through those avenues, or is that something that you're just having fun with?
So, the social media part about that helping with business, it's helping with the SEO, the clicks. I didn't really get a website, a real website, till I moved to Texas, because we actually took it more serious. This is where I can go a little bit into basically what happened from the moment I hit here. It wasn't just, I'm Mower Man, hiring me. I would pass around my business cards, and people would ask me, well, my lawn care guy sucks, I'd be willing to try you out. So I give out my cards, and people are excited about it, but that's not what really started everything to pick up and have people basically call me as much. It all started with a Vistaprint logo, guy with a weed eater, and that was my logo for basically most of the business, for 5 years. That was the logo. But not until I moved to Texas did I want to be a little more serious about my company, because I was like, you know what, I want to do more. I don't want to become a millionaire from it, but if it happens, well, more power to it. So I decided to think, what could be something that would stand out in my logo. I'm passionate in what I do. I love mowing equipment. I love Gravely mowers. Why don't I just do a guy sitting on a Gravely mower and see what happens with it? Just, it was just to see what would happen with it. And, well, I printed some stickers just to launch the logo into the community on Instagram. I was able to sell as well, just to get, the idea of the brand out there. And then I just started giving away stickers. Not until I started giving away the stickers did the brand actually stick. And then that's when people were like, who is this guy? And then I started, trying out other equipment, looking at, what's out there. The first company to kind of show interest to me was Y Bravo. They're really trying to get their mower brand out there, but nobody really knows about them. Yes, they only make a 21 and a 25. At the time that I moved here, I got me the Exmark Commercial 30, but I was fascinated with their 25 because sometimes you can't fit the 30 through some of the gates. But I didn't want to get into more 21s because that's how I started the company. I really wanted to kind of phase that out, but it was still on and off with that. So what I ended up doing with the mower brand, Y Bravo, I tried them out as a demo. We tried to get one, to try out at a couple of jobs. Well, the opportunity never really worked out. I don't know really what happened with it, but they were able to bring me one to where I live, and I demoed it in the parking lot. It was my first demo that I've had from any manufacturer. The idea of a demo was something that I was like, hey, if you let me try the mower, that'd be cool. I never got a chance to really demo it on mowing jobs, but just to see what it feels like, look at it firsthand was really cool, other than seeing it at a dealer. They gave me some brochures and some hats, which I gave away on Instagram, and that started basically kind of my product reviews. I shared my experience with what I saw compared to the Exmark 30, and I did comparison between the weight and everything on there, and that basically kind of snowballed into Mower what it is today, with the sponsors that have given us product for product review, and it has helped build basically a force of equipment to basically destroy these jobs that we have to maintain now. And it's been awesome, and I didn't think everything would just kind of blow up this year. My 550 still, my only still that I had, still going. I figured it was going to go out, so I needed to buy a blower. So I was freaking out that I didn't, have enough funds, to put aside to do that, because, I'm barely starting the company again. Yes, the company still exists on social media, the new website, but people don't know who I am really. So it was like, how do I set $600 aside? And that's when it all started. Echo launched a UAG program, and I was like, well, should I try it? Well, I figured I'd try it out to see what the program was about, because I figured that being connected to some of these brands could really help me. And wow, it has really blessed my family, my business, to be able to have this equipment, and basically keep pushing forward. I ended up, getting a new blower from Echo to basically do a product review. Ended up doing that, but it changed everything. Equipment is basically one of the things that we all struggle with, trying to get that piece of equipment to get ahead in our business, to be able to support our families. Some of us, are like, well, shoot, I don't know how to put aside $5K, $7K to get a mower. That's kind of the situation I'm at right now. I'm trying to figure out, what am I going to do equipment-wise? Am I going to sell some of the equipment that I do have to get ahead, or am I going to try to save, this coming spring to get something in the summer, or am I going to finance? So that's something that coming into 2018, I'm going to have to decide and kind of make a plan what I'm going to do with that.
I think that's a fantastic thing for everybody out here to hear too. Everybody thinks, okay, he's huge on Instagram. He's got these products being thrown at him. He's got this, he's got that, but you're just like everybody else out there trying to figure out like you just said, how you're going to buy that next mower and how you're going to build your business just like everybody else out there that's watching. I mean, and I think that's a fantastic thing. So, I mean, what was your response the first time somebody called you up or messaged you and said, "Hey man, I got this product. It's yours. Just tell us what you think of it."
Well, the first company to actually kind of, open their hands, come in, be a part of our family, it was SureCan. I'm not sure, what side you go, nose fill or SureCan, but I was in either side. So anything that would help my company, I have always said yes. But the one thing that I, tried to stay, when a company contacts me, I try to stay a free agent. But with SureCan, I did not stay a free agent. I went exclusive for the reason that why am I going to keep changing gas cans every year? Realistically, why am I going to do that? If there's an issue with the can, I'll live with it. Buy a new one of the same brand,
right?
Or reach out to them since I have become an advocate. I came out with these issues. So some of the beginnings to them, we've kind of helped, build their brand, with their branding as well. And it has helped my company. So that's why, it doesn't, I'm not making any money from helping out these companies. I did get opportunity to do a meet and greet, but all that, none of it's paid. A lot of people are just like, I'm getting this huge paycheck, I'm making thousands of dollars, and I'm not. I'm making whatever I make from the sweat of my brow. And that's the thing that, some of these people need to see, that we're working hard, to get into these companies, to help us, to help ourselves, get ahead. And basically I posted a picture on Instagram, and that's what snowballed the SureCan. They reached out to me even before they even had a program. They're like, we noticed you've been able to grow your following to, I think at that point, we were between 45K and like maybe 6K. So it was growing, but they had noticed basically the pictures of my work. They had seen how basically prideful I am of my work. The companies that I work for or use. But in all reality, when you say that when I say that I work for these companies, I do it out of the passion that I have for the industry, the work that I do. So this is where I can get into basically me being a Gravely brand ambassador. It's been the biggest question that comes up. So like I said in the beginning when we started this interview, I started with the Aaron's brand, then upgraded to a walk behind, which was Gravely. And then, the next mower was the next C3 21, and then the 34 Compact Pro, and then coming here, I got the Commercial 21. So basically, I have spent my money with one company, and I just kept going. I could have went with Xmark, and I could have told the world I am an Xmark brand ambassador. Anyone can be an ambassador of any company. It's just being prideful of what you do, the equipment that you use. It just happened to be great because they've been great products for me. I haven't had any issues, and it comes back down to dealer support. And basically, all that turned into me being so proud of using the brand that I figured, hey, everyone's an ambassador of something on Instagram. If I want to become noticed by possible fans, by possible manufacturers that could help my company be more successful, possible basically friends that I could make, in the industry, they're going to see what your bio is. And they're going to see basically, what do you represent? Yes, I'm a landscaping company, but then at the same time, I represent the different, brands that I've worked for, for this year, last year, basically the whole time that I worked on Instagram. And yes, it's kind of turned into more of a marketing thing for them. But if you break that aside, every time you see Mowerman LS, which is an abbreviation of Mowerman Lawn Service, that is a brand that I created, which now every time that you see one of my posts, you see Mowerman Lawn Service in the text, that's a click. And that basically, that name keeps being clicked, which now when I merged all my social media by launching my Google listing, SEO, and it all happened, basically, it's been a buildup of almost a decade, and now it's slowly jumping to number one on its own. I haven't had to pay for Google AdWords or anything. When I first started the Google listing, if you looked up lawn service in McKinney, Texas, I think it was number 13 or 15, and it has jumped up to being the top 10. And I'm hoping, which, I believe that if I keep doing what I'm doing and then keep putting those keywords in my website, it's going to shoot up to number one, plus the reviews. And then one of the cool things that, I noticed, I was invited, to meet up with a still distributor, which I thought was a dealer. So I asked him, what is the name of the address? So I Googled their address, and then I noticed on their address that they had, on their Google listing, that they had, certain reviews for Google, and then they had reviews from Facebook. So it said Google reviews / Facebook. And that's what started this whole thing, that I had this conversation with Richie. I was like, Richie, what do you know about this? He goes, I don't know, man. I'm going to have to ask Brian. And then it started a whole conversation. We got to get Nick on the phone.
he tells me, he talks to you all the time. The other day, I'm like, Richie,
did I discover something that nobody knows?
Yeah. I'm like, Richie, I don't know if David's going to do it, man. I haven't heard from him. He said he has to talk to his wife. He's like, hold on, I'll call him. So, hey, I found a picture. I'm going to drop the picture of my first commercial mower here, right under David, so you guys can see it. This old ass Gravely. It was a great mower, though.
Check it out.
Yeah, we'll drop that in there. So, at what point did you realize, and what made you realize that, like you said, you've got everything linked together now, and you're starting to grow in Google, and what made you realize that, hey, what I'm building on Instagram and what I'm building on Facebook is really starting to drive customers my way? And what about that? I mean, what have your customers said that says, hey man, we seen your post on Instagram, or we seen your post on Facebook, and that's how we found you?
Has that happened yet? It hasn't happened, but what I've noticed, the new thing that has happened is I went to do an estimate this afternoon, for a leaf cleanup, and it was a Craigslist listing that I put up. They had Googled my company, and they were like, he has an Instagram, he's got a Twitter, he's got a YouTube, and basically they're naming the list, and then there's a website. So obviously they went straight to the website, looked at it, they liked it, then they started going down the platforms, and then they went back to basically the Google listing, and they saw the reviews. So what ended up happening with the Google reviews, I did my own research because I wasn't getting a response fast enough from people. Because once I find something that's like, whoa, I found something that not everyone knows. So I did my research. I want to say, don't quote me if I'm wrong, but what I have found, doing the research, how to get your Facebook reviews on your Google listing, it just happens automatically. So going into branding back a little bit is you want to have the name of your company be the same on every platform. Or if you don't, like what I have done is the Mowerman LS, try to post, if you do basically any type of post, put, Mowerman Lawn Service. So that way people see that. And it goes back to basically Google. Google sees that your name keeps being clicked, and then it merges everything on Google, which is what happened with Facebook. And then having a large following will help that stand out. And I was like, way cool. And they really surprised me that, as soon as I got a couple reviews on Google, it merged everything. So now if you look up my company, you start seeing all my social media platforms, and you see on the Google listing by itself, my Facebook reviews merged to it, basically. Well, not merged to it, but it says, X reviews / Facebook reviews, website review, other website reviews, which was really cool that happened because I noticed, I did my own research, lawn service in McKinney, Texas, and what had come up is that everyone in that list, they may be in the top 15, but their reviews, they have maybe 4 reviews, or some of them may have 50 reviews, but they're not 5 stars. So that's where I brought what I've created on Facebook to Google, which I have 55 reviews, and then accumulating, I want to say 5 reviews on my Google listing. So if you have 5-star reviews, constantly building up, then automatically you're growing your SEO by yourself, and you'll be number one. I think by springtime I should be number one
in your area as far as Google goes. Yeah. So what? Obviously we advertise this as kind of social media 101, so that's kind of what we're going to focus on a little bit. What would you say the number one trick that you found has been in growing your Instagram? Because obviously that's where you have, that's your following is your Instagram. So that's your big one, at least. What's the number one trick that you can tell everybody to try to build up that, the follows on there?
Well, basically posting 2 times a day, which, a lot of the stuff I'm going to say is very generic. But if you stay consistent to it, it will, you'll start seeing gradual growth. You can use up to 30 hashtags per post. Basically, it's like a window into each hashtag. And if someone decides to look up lawn service, obviously you could shoot to the very top because everyone keeps looking at your picture. So the key is to get into the top, I want to say is top 9 of that hashtag. If you can get into the top 9 of that hashtags, you're getting, people seeing your stuff. And people seeing your pictures, your videos, that's when it's getting you to build up possible followers that, oh, I saw this content under this hashtag. And then if you can dominate, let's say 3 of those photos in the top 9 of that hashtag, you have a great possibility to come out in the search page. So basically, top 9, and then jump to the search page. And then the search page, obviously, someone decides to open their Instagram randomly to their search page because they're going to see what people are posting. They see your picture. Oh, I like that picture or video. They go into it. They see your content. Oh, I'm going to hit follow. And that's what has happened.
That's cool. I mean, and that these are the things that everybody wants to know, and things that these new guys, I mean, I don't have a huge Instagram following. I think I'm at about 500. But that little bit of information is a beautiful thing. I mean, people don't think that, okay, I dropped my one photo for the day, I added 1 or 2 tags to it. Why isn't anything happening? It takes a lot more than that. What would you say, and this is something that can be used in any area, not necessarily in Texas or Grand Rapids, Michigan for me. What are the off-the-wall tags that you might use to try to, something that's not lawn service or something that's not Gravely Mowers or Shurcan or Steel or Echo or something like that? What do you throw in there to say, hey, maybe I'm mowing in this area today. I'm going to drop that city. I mean, what has garnished you the best turnaround from that, you think?
So you can randomly throw different hashtags. So I'm not an arborist, but arborists use echo and still. So you throw the hashtag in arborist or logger or trucks. A majority of us are guys that run lawn care companies, but there are some women too. So you could randomly throw, mowing in there, or even girls mowing. That will attract, it's a random hashtag, yes, but is it random? If girls are mowing, they'll see that and they'll be like, hey, maybe I'll go see what else he's posting. And then they say, oh, there's a whole world of mowing. And then they see that you're posting something that's super positive, that basically they're going through a hard time in the industry that they're basically not supposed to be in. But because it's so positive, they'll hit that follow button. Just little things like that. And basically, we could go all night with information like that. Everything that you do, everyone is watching. Whether you think no one's going to watch it, everyone's watching it. I do think that the biggest thing that has helped me to grow it as fast as I did, because when I moved to Texas, I had 300, maybe 400 followers, probably less than that. But what really helped me with that is I started watching YouTube videos. How do you do this? There's different things, out there that you could do. But the biggest no-no that basically you can notice that some of the people on Instagram and YouTube do, they buy subscribers, they buy followers. You can kind of track that. Nobody's going to grow 1,000 from 200
or 20 or 20,000.
Yeah,
I've seen it. It's obvious. It's an obvious thing. But when you go from having 2,000 subscribers to 23,000 overnight, something happened.
Or even your likes jump, 10K. Everyone's like, "Are you kidding me? There's no way you did that." And it does frustrate me, that some of these guys have done that to kind of entice companies to help them out, equipment wise, but they're watching that too. Because then, at GIE, I personally got asked by certain companies, what do you think about this company? I was like, well, from personal experience, this is what I have seen. This is what has happened with me, and basically my communication with them, this is the way it is. So obviously I don't need to say any names of anybody, but basically people are watching. They think nobody's watching, but they are. It's very noticeable, people growing, instantly overnight, or, oh, I'm going to throw a giveaway and it's just going to explode. I'm right now at, I want to say 16,300. So I need to get 700 followers to do my giveaway. Will I do it before, the year's in? Who knows? I share it as much as I can, but at the same time, people have to follow rules to win something. So that's why you create rules. But in all reality, I want to say the ISO tunes are $100, and all they have to do is basically follow you, maybe repost it, on their feed, or even put it in the story. I've even told people, put it in your story, just tag me so I see it eventually, in my feed or in my story messages. People don't want to do it. So I'm just like, you can't just give something away and not get anything in return. So what I end up having to do, because, none of the people really, follow rules, I tell my kids, I'm going to write these names down, cross as many as you want out and circle your favorite. And that's what I've done. Because, people aren't really, I could go on a live and say, well, we're going to pick out of that. No, I do it even more random. Get my son to pick.
Nice. And you know what? There's a lot of times if I run a contest like that, the easiest thing to do is let your kids pick. It's simple. They, they're going to pick. They're not going to have any judgment. They don't know who the hell they're picking, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to throw something out here, guys, to give David a little bit of help. Obviously, he's got that story going, or the contest going on his Instagram. I would imagine most people in here follow your Instagram. So I've got an SA mask right here that I'm going to give away, and I'm actually going to let David pick who it is, or his kids, whichever one works best. It may not happen till after the show, but it will definitely announce it. So I want you to go to David's Instagram. I want you to find that contest. Maybe, I don't think you can post a link up here for that, can you? Maybe not. Go there, follow the directions on that post, and the person he picks will get an SA mask. Pretty simple. So you guys can do it after the show. You can do it now. We won't pick until probably tomorrow. But just something to throw out there. So let's go to a question we have out here from Joe Sangster. He wants to know how many people do you have working for you, David?
So basically, 100% of the time, I'm out there solo. The advancements in equipment has really changed everything for me. So I went from having 21-inch push mowers to commercial 30-inch mowers with assist. So you can do an average of 10, 12 jobs a day. And then if I bring my 34, I can almost double that. But it's still a buildup of clients. And when I get backed up, I get a helper or two. But it hasn't got to the point that I've had to get the 2 helpers. So what has happened this summer, I took out my son, and he ran a backpack blower where I did everything. And we got the jobs done pretty fast because of him. I started him on the Milwaukee handheld blower, which then I upgraded him to the, I want to say, PB265 backpack blower, which is an equivalent of a handheld, but it's a backpack blower that Echo makes. And it really has helped, with productivity, having him out there. But most of the jobs that I do are mowing. They're under a quarter acre. They might hit half. The 1 acre jobs, I usually just have them go run around the back of the field and just, be a kid.
I love taking my kids to work, man. I got my oldest son, who is 8, loves doing mulch. I mean, that's his thing, man. He'll sit and run that wheelbarrow all day long. I'm going to try to drop a link here, guys. Hopefully it works. I think I got the link to that picture.
Yeah, my phone froze, so I can't get it to come out.
Yeah, I think it dropped. So we're going to take another question here. Let me see if I can find it. I had it up a moment ago. Dane wants to know what the best camera is to vlog about the industry. Now, you don't do a lot of vlogging, do you?
I haven't. I did it. I got a little bit into a vlogging one. I did it wasn't like me showing people the work that I do. It was more like video vlogging, like we're communicating, you're watching my face, talking about my experience of the day. I did a back and forth with my son, and you can see that on my YouTube channel. And then at the end, I did the review of the Milwaukee handheld blower. But that's the extent I've gone to. I haven't really got into vlogging, more product reviews, unboxing videos. I'd really like to get more into it. But what I have used is basically a tripod, my phone. I have an Android. And the most recent thing, my wife got me a GoPro, an older version, which, has helped. That's why some of the videos have gotten longer. So when I was able to demo the right mowers, I used the GoPro for that. I did a Surecan Advocate video. That was GoPro. So the video's quality does get a little better with GoPro. But then obviously GoPro has come out with Hero 6 now, which is like top of line. So
that's a nice camera.
That's what I kind of want to upgrade eventually. When I get into like serious vlogging, like all the bigger YouTubers, probably not, because that's something that I don't really have time for. I have to work. Maybe if eventually when my company grows to, I don't know, 500 accounts, that I have to take care of per month. Right now we're hitting, what on peak season, 200, 200 a month that we're able to do solo. That's an average of 10, 15 a day, Monday through Friday. So you still got weekends to do whatever you want. So it's easy work. You could say I'm part-time making full-time money, which, has been really cool because I don't really like working for the man. I like working for myself. Love equipment.
I don't think any of us do anymore, man. We all made that choice a long time ago. So if you guys have any more questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments up here. We're watching them, and we'll be sure to answer them. So how do you find time, David? Obviously, you're a father, a husband, 2 kids, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How do you balance that time between your social media and your family? I mean, do you have a certain amount of time that you set aside? Obviously, Instagram doesn't take long, but making YouTube videos and stuff like that obviously takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, YouTube is going to be the hardest platform for me to grow for the reason that you have to film something, edit it. Editing, takes a long time. I try not to film too much because I can't see myself filming a lot. So the GoPro filming with the Right Mowers demo, that ended up being 30 to 40 minutes of filming because I filmed each individual. It was 3 mowers, the 32, the 36, and I want to say, was it 62? And it took up basically all day to do that, to demo each mower. So, but you see it in the video, it's condensed down. I think it was 10 minutes that it was condensed down. So obviously I had to fast forward some of it, cut some of it out. That took, 2-3 hours to even figure out how to do all that through a regular Windows Movie Maker. Add some music to it. And then in the end, I uploaded it thinking it was the right file. It cut out the ending, which I ended up having to add another ending to it, basically saying, thank you for watching, please subscribe, like, comment at the end. That's why you see that. And then to make up for that, I did a small clip basically to showcase that video. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to demo equipment. And then you see me demoing the 62 with some Terminator music, kind of, but it attracted people to the actual video. It didn't go viral like, everyone else's videos, but it takes a lot of work, the whole video and editing. People think that these bigger YouTubers, they just film the edit, it's done. No, it's a lot of work. They put in a lot of time.
Yeah. They're doing this. Half of their day is spent making their YouTube videos. The other half is spent getting the footage for them. I mean, that's how I like to look at it, while they're working at the same time,
Yeah. And I tried doing that. The video didn't come out. The filming didn't come out that great. So I said, screw it. I just got to work.
Yeah. You still got to get the job done, man. And that's the problem I have with YouTube as well. I mean, I've got a YouTube. I haven't even worked on it enough to have, my custom domain name or anything yet, but and that's the problem I have when I'm out working. I'm so focused on getting the job done that I forget to set my camera up, or I forget to go pick my camera up, and I've actually left it on jobs before. I just forget about it. It's one of those things that I'm out there to get the work done and not film myself, but I want to get that built. I just need to find the time and the right mind frame to get it done, So.
For sure.
Let's see if we got anybody else have any more questions. Go ahead and drop them down. So let's talk about, obviously you are a Gravely advocate. You are a SureCan advisor, correct? Is that the right term?
So so it's Gravely Advocate. No, Gravely Brand Ambassador. Turcan Advocate. It's all the same thing. It means the same thing. What just the ambassador name is more official, and the reason I wanted to kind of create that world to be official is to get noticed, and obviously it worked. If I built, basically this little world, on social media, it worked because you go on anybody's Instagram that's verified and you see that they're, an advocate or an ambassador for, like, say, an energy drink, you'll want to see what they're about. And I wanted to do that with basically the brand I wanted to launch. So kind of co-branding off the Aaron's and Gravely brand really helped me out because everyone sees me using their equipment. It's not like it was going to be an issue that I was going to have 6 different mower brands because I can't buy 6 different mower brands at the same time.
Right.
I didn't have the funding to do any of that or even finance equipment to buy that many mowers. If you just use what you got and then just keep building up from that. But going to GIE really kind of opened the world to basically, mowing equipment. There's this brand, there's this brand, there's this brand. So that's basically where you kind of have seen that I've bought a different mower brand, which was the X Mark 30 because Gravely doesn't make it. If Gravely comes out with a 30, would I buy it? Yes, I'd buy it. So basically, they make standards. So before I go to Wright, I would definitely look at Gravely first before I went to Wright. But right now, the one dilemma I have is Gravely doesn't make a 32. So that's basically one of those that I would get one of those and then, but still continue Gravely. Yeah. I do love that Wright makes the bigger decks, but I'm trying to remain loyal for the reason that it has helped my branding. It has helped my family be more successful. So I'm not going to just throw that out the window and say, screw it, you guys mean nothing to me now.
Right. Yeah, I'm moving on. Yeah, and you don't want to do that. So it sounds like in your area that you're doing, because you're saying that you need a 32-inch mower, a 36-inch mower, it sounds like you're doing a lot of smaller yards.
Well, yes, because a lot of the communities here are being built up so fast because the area is exploding. Like I said in the beginning of the interview, this is the number 1 city to live in, have a small business. It came out in Money Magazine 2015, and it still is. It keeps growing. They're not saying every year that this is the place to live, but it is because it keeps growing. Toyota headquarters, they had built, I want to say, 80% of their facility now. So I was asking my wife.
That's all right. She can come in and co-star.
So that basically big brand coming in, and then plus some other big corporate companies are coming in. All those families are coming in, so they're moving into these small communities. They're not able to build 1 acre lots anymore. They're having to condense them down, which they're even up to 1/8 of an acre, so they're really small.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I'm able to do so many yards per day. And then my goal is to double my workload to try to do, and I want to do 20 a day. But I want to do that solo. And the only way to do something like that is to be more productive. So the 30-inch has changed the way, basically mowing is. But I end up getting tired after you hit job number 10. You're just like, well, shoot, my legs are going to give out. Right. So that's why I've been looking into stand-on mowers and then doing research. Who makes, like, say, a 38 stand-on? So I didn't know that all these mower brands, are out there. But going to GIE, I learned about Wright. I learned about World Lawn. Just came out last year with their 32-inch Venom. I spoke with them at GIE about, demoing their equipment too. Haven't heard from them. So that's when I was like, well, I can't just put my hands on my butt and just wait for something to happen.
Right.
So I happened to run into Judith at Wright at GIE. I was like, hey, I'm really impressed with your equipment. I wouldn't replace the brands that I use, but I really like to learn more about your brand. And she just kind of like opened her arms and just explained the brand to me, the equipment, and then I was able to get a distributor to, take the step and bring the mower. So originally, he was only supposed to bring me the 32-inch standard, but he was demoing two other mowers, which was the 36 and the 62, to another landscaping company in Fort Worth, I believe. So he had those mowers with him, and I was like, hey, do you mind if I try them out on a job too? So that's what ended up happening out of the Wright Mowers demo. I ended up basically really learning what each mower is like, each different deck size. So if I were starting my company right now with just push mowers, and then I was going to upgrade to another brand, and let's say I didn't know Gravely existed, yes, I would basically, what you have seen happen with Gravely, it would have happened with Wright. But at the time where I started my company, Gravely was there. It started with Aaron's.
Right.
So it all kind of snowballed from there. So that's part of basically my story. Like you have your story, like, well, this dealer sells Wright, I guess. So that's why you went with Wright.
Yeah, and definitely. I mean, that's what we were sold on, and it wasn't about that because I actually didn't. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't go shopping for a Wright mower. I went shopping for a Skag. What happened with me though is we went to our dealer. We chose the dealer that we have, and because it was a personal experience. It was, we walked in there. It was like we were their best friends from day one. And people will say, well, yeah, that's because they were trying to sell you a mower. But I disagree with that because I still walk in there today. I can walk in there, and I believe 2 weeks ago I walked in, I wasn't buying a damn thing. I just walked in and asked for some hats for some giveaways, and they still treated me like I was their best friend.
Yeah.
So we went in there. I wanted a Skag V-Ride. That's what I wanted. He walked up. He says, dude, you gotta check the Wright out. I'm like, all right, we'll look at it, and I'm looking, I'm like, man, that's a lot of mower. It's a lot of mower. It's a solid mower, and it's a lot of mower. He says, now come outside and look. So we walk outside, and one of his other customers had dropped their Skag V-Ride off. He says, stand on that mower. I literally stood on the V-Ride and walked back inside and bought a Wright. It was that simple, man. I mean, they build a quality, and Gravely does too. I have no issues with Gravely whatsoever. Like I said, that 48-inch walk behind I had, that was a fantastic mower. That thing was bulletproof. I could have probably ran that thing out of oil and it still would have started up tomorrow morning, and that's just how it worked. But, and there's tons of mower brands out there, and Wright, where, Wright 5 years ago wasn't making the push that they're making right now. It was a Gravely, it was a Skag thing, and now Wright's trying to make that big push, and they're, especially where I'm at, they're getting more and more popular. Every lawn trailer you drive by right now has a Wright on it, and that's just how it works. I mean, it's going to be a constantly evolving thing, in my opinion.
But when you went into these dealers, they were selling you equipment, so you're kind of in a different place where I was. I had to do research. It wasn't just the dealer. I didn't, know anything about any brands. So for me, it's more, I went to do research on equipment online. It wasn't even YouTube. YouTube was not something that I even would think of going on to. Okay, I went basically straight to the manufacturer to learn about them. But going back to my first zero turn, my first mower, it was the Aaron's brand, and that's when I did research. What is this brand about exactly? they were selling you basically not just on the equipment, but basically their family name, that's basically that passion is basically where it started for me. I was like, if they can have so much heart to do that, why can't I? So then from that, I built up, basically Mower Man, what it is today.
That's beautiful.
And that's what everyone knows now. They're just like, wow, where did this guy come from?
Yeah.
And it's just because they've seen the heart that I learned from the Heritage brand. They're passionate about their equipment, and then they built all these mowers, and then Gravely happened to me. I love red, my favorite color.
It just matches. There's a lot of red mowers out there, but I would choose Gravely too.
If you don't have passion, why even get into doing anything that's going to help you be successful? You have to have passion.
So you said you started your company. How many years have you been in business?
8 years.
8 years.
Back in 2010.
In 3 different cities.
Yes.
3 different states. Not just 3 cities. 3 different states.
Yes.
From Arkansas to
San Diego
to Texas. I mean, that's huge, man. And you've started over 3 times.
Yeah.
You started your company you needed $600, so you went out and started mowing lawns. Now, what kept you doing it? I mean, after you made that $600, what made you say, you know what, I'm going to run with this. This is what I'm going to do.
Well, after I made the $600 for rent, it wasn't just $600. In 4 months, I made $15,000. So that's when I was just like, wait, what did I just make? With just a 21-inch push mower with no assist? What would happen if I got into commercial mowers? Could I make more? And that's basically, it was all what if. And trial and error, and I got the 36-inch block behind, first commercial mower, Gravely, and then basically I kept upgrading. I was like, this has to get better. I have to get better equipment. I have to get faster equipment because I can't get tired. And basically from going to assist to a zero turn, now basically the future for my company, I believe, is going to be stand-on mowers with, I want to do both mower brands. I want to have a Wright. I want to have Gravely. And basically what could end up happening is this funny thing in branding. I could end up saying that I am the Wright Gravely brand ambassador. It could merge.
Right.
And then people are just going to crap themselves. No one in the industry has sat there and said they're an ambassador for 2 manufacturers and then be happy with it. I'm pretty sure if it happens, which, I'm pretty sure it could happen in the next year, 2 years, in the next decade, they're going to see something that has never been seen before. And it all happened because I have shown basically what I can do from a 21-inch push mower to going to commercial equipment to now showing my passion to the world. I don't care if this is Echo, if it's going to help me be successful, if their family, their company is going to take me in and share their experience of how they started and basically how the equipment works and care about me at a personal level, yes, I'm going to use their equipment.
Absolutely, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Echo. I mean, I know we're getting on in time here. I don't know if you have to go, but I got all kinds of questions. So, David is a Echo UAG member. He was one of the inaugural members, correct? You said
Yes.
Started back in March. What has that program done for you and your business?
Well, it has helped me kind of reaffirm kind of the things that I have done already. They've kind of already said, they've helped us, basically how do you do a website? How do you do this? So that's part of the program. They kind of help your company build up more than what it is. They give you advice. But the other half is equipment. The equipment, that basically I wouldn't normally buy. Like I said in the beginning, the beginning of this year, I thought my 550 still was going to go out. And how are you going to save about $600 when you have a truck payment, you have another car payment, you have rent? Just between that, you're hitting almost $3K. And then you're just like, well, shoot, my money's gone.
Right. Yeah.
What am I going to
And I need a blower.
Plus, you got to feed, your wife, your 2 kids. You got to feed yourself. Where's $600 going to happen when basically, that's what's going on. So the program has helped me have equipment that, I wouldn't normally buy, but it's also helped me with branding. It has helped basically build up the Mower Man brand. People see basically, oh wow, now he has Echo under his sleeve, and it has helped his company. Why shouldn't I try out their equipment? That's literally all they're doing. This company is using that equipment. Try it out. Well, we're trying it out. People are seeing that we're trying it out. I'm not saying it's the best equipment in the world. It's not. There could be another brand that's better. Yes. But why not use the equipment that's, helping me get ahead? And then basically, my experience with the equipment is helping them make better products, which isn't that what we all want? Better equipment for each manufacturer. If this little tweak fixes it and makes it better, why not? Yeah. We're that much faster doing our jobs, and we're more successful, in our businesses. That's all they're doing, and that's what basically kind of has snowballed all these advocate programs. They want to help us, the landscapers, the professionals, get ahead, and which is why they launched the Echo Means Business website. So basically, people go on there and maybe ask a question, well, how can I do this? Because on some groups on Facebook, you ask, what mower should I buy? Should I buy this 21-inch push mower that doesn't have assist, or this one that has assist? Well, that's, a professional that's like, well, I could go on there because, I'm in there and I say, hey, go assist, save up enough money at least to buy used assist, because when I started, I struggled. You don't want to struggle. So this is the little things that has helped in that, forum.
Oh, and the advances that every company's making right now, I mean, they're huge. And the guys 20 years ago would have never dreamed of having the equipment we have today in such a short span, Guys, and what David's saying right now is there's nothing wrong with starting off with a 21-inch push mower and a cheap little trimmer and getting your business going. That's what he did. So, nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Let me share, a little bit more about my history. I did not have a truck when I started. So we're going to go, I'm a grown-ass man, and I had a Trobo push mower that I would fold the handles on that 21. I had a little crate. So this is something that they're like, whoa, Mower Man went through this? It happened.
Oh, absolutely.
So this is what the whole started my whole crate in my truck bed. From my beginning. So I made sure I got a gas can that would fit in the crate that was a 2-gallon, and then a 1-gallon that would fit side by side. So I had my little milk crate with my gas cans in it so they wouldn't fly back and forth. So from the beginning, I already tried to make the best choices that I could, to be more efficient. So that went in the back of a Honda Fit.
Ooh.
It went in the back of a Honda Fit. The mower handles were being folded. I had a tarp that I would put out. You're thinking, my wife's laughing. So
don't tell people this.
12-year-old man? What?
Don't tell anybody. No.
So and then that's when I was like, I needed a weed eater, and this is me not knowing about Echo or Still or any brands that are out there. It might have been a Ryobi. I don't even know what it was, but it was an attachment. This is one that you would break onto two pieces, and I purposely got that so I could take it apart and it would fit behind the Honda Fit. And then I had an Echo 250 blower, and that was my setup out of the Honda Fit, and I did maybe 5 yards, a week.
Yeah. Yeah, there's none. I mean, I started off. You seen the Gravely? I dropped it down there. I had that Gravely. I have in the mower's actually still not the Gravely. My push mower is actually still sitting in my shed without wheels on it because those broke off. I used it so much. Just a little Toro recycler, and I pulled that Gravely with a Mercury Mountaineer and a Tractor Supply Company 5x8 trailer.
Nice.
That was my setup, man, and that's how it happened. And I got lawns done, kind of the same thing, a little bit better setup than a Honda Fit, but the trailer, I was borrowing the trailer. But I ran the wheels off the thing. I gave it back, and the guy's like, I don't even want it anymore. I'm like, well, here's the money for it, man. I've done used it, So, but yeah, I mean, everybody starts somewhere, even Blaine's saying that, he's saying that's almost identical to where he started, and everybody's got to start somewhere. And it's cool to hear from a guy that everybody sees on a daily basis, like you, that humble beginnings, man, and you hustled hard to get where you're at today. That's a fantastic thing.
Yeah, people need to see that. Basically, it didn't just happen overnight. Everyone struggled. From the beginning. You got to build something, and you got to have that. Determination. I have to be successful for myself, for my family. For what you want to become. Because if you don't, then basically you'll just still be that guy with the push mower.
Right. Well, all right, guys, we're gonna call it a night. We've taken a ton of David's time here, so David, I appreciate it a ton. I know everybody who is watching appreciates it a ton. Maybe in a year or so, we'll do a follow up and we'll see where David's at, where his Instagram has grown to, and all that fun stuff. And don't forget, guys, I got that SA mask to give away. I dropped in the comments the post. You got to go there. You got to follow the rules. You got to get it done. Let's get him up to that. What do you want? 17,000? That's where we're at?
17K before Christmas would be cool. But if it doesn't happen, it's whatever, man. It's just something, to have a goal, to be the next success that is for my social media goal. If it doesn't happen, I won't be disappointed. I'll still move on. Just like I said, my YouTube channel just hit 500 subscribers. It's not the biggest. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't grow. I do what I can with what I have, and that's what people need to see. I'm not going to be fake. I will do what I can, and if it grows, it grows.
I like that, man. Well, thank you very much, David. We got guys on here saying thank you as well in the comments, so I appreciate all your time.
Thanks for having me.
We'll definitely have David back on, and thank you guys for watching. Have a great night. Green Industry Raw and Uncut from Lawn Care World. Make sure you check us out next week. I'm going to drop who that is tomorrow. We've got an interview set up for next week and the following week. So that'll be the day after Christmas. We've got some pretty big interviews coming up, guys. So we're going to try to keep bringing you big names, guys you want to hear about. So, David, take care. Have a good night, brother. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, man. Take care.